And now we move to activity number 2. And activity 2 is the positive ideal self. So now we can create the opposite thought. So you think about the opposite thought or feeling of that's a more powerful and more empowering, more positive. For when you was in that car, what would be, you had the word guilt, what would be the opposite that would feel good? An opposite thought or feeling. So you got the feeling of guilt. What was the opposite for you? So you're in the car, you're having a smoke, you've got this comment over here, which was you shouldn't be doing this. What's the opposite to that for you?
The opposite to that, I'd probably say it was probably the importance of the person that I was picking up.
The importance of the person you were picking up. Right. So you got the importance of the person you were picking up. So the importance, right. And what's important about that?
The importance was the person that I was picking up would notice and it would affect their opinion.
Right, so they'll notice and it'll affect their opinion. And what's important about that?
Is that sometimes it's important to impress people that maybe the whole.
So it's important to impress people. And these people are what? You need to impress them. Why? What's the?
You know, I'll give you an example. There are certain. It's like picking a movie star. You've got to run around a cigarette before you're going to pick the block fire. There's something that you want to leave or give it a treasure so that it's more caring, positive, and most would be caring.
Right, so caring.
Caring about the thoughts of others.
About thoughts of others. Yeah.
So I think that's my power for caring about the thoughts of others. And taking my opinions on myself.
So externally focused. So what's the emotion you get? Like, have you had times in your life? Let's go back. What is the emotion you get from caring about the thoughts of others? What does that give you? Purpose. So it gives you purpose. And so what is the purpose? What's the purpose it's giving you? Like, is there
The purpose would be seen in a favourable light.
Right. So with the words in your mouth, would the word be like acceptance? Is there a higher trumped up word like that?
Yeah.
What would be a better word to like a single word? Like I get acceptance, I get. What would be another word? Your word would be more important.
The word acceptance.
Yeah, is that the right word? So purpose, acceptance. And that gives you what kind of a feeling of trust? Great. So trust, and that's a lot of security around trust because you've been accepted into the tribe of humans, whichever group you're in. And so if you think about a time when you had acceptance and trust in people because you were behaving in all the ways that you like to behave, coming back to, so we've looked at the opposite, we're getting close to that, and now we've got this word ideal self. So the word ideal self. Now can you imagine a version of you, your ideal self, that solved all these problems, that doesn't ever think about that taxi driver you 20 years ago, never has any of that guilt. They've solved all their problems. They've got lots of purpose. They're getting acceptance from people. They're trusting themselves and people are trusting them, not trusting you. Caring about the thoughts of others, which is about that nurturing relationships, and there's lots of other things going on. Can you imagine that ideal self version of you?
Oh yes.
It's like a future version of you.
Oh yes. Oh, if we could only change the past, we create the future.
What if we change this moment and we actually create this new generalization? This is what we do in coaching in the swish pattern. We have all these generalizations about ourselves. They're not all accurate, but we make them up and they are true to us, absolute truth. But we've still created it from what we've found in our environment, right? So the question is, when we think about your ideal self, we're going to make, this is going to be the second picture. So you've got the first picture of the taxi driver having a smoke and feeling guilty. That's the negative thought. The positive thought is going to be your ideal self. If you were to see yourself walking down the street, right? Seeing yourself. This is this ideal self. And this person walks past right now. And as they're walking past, how do they carry themselves when they've solved all these problems?
Head up high, with a big smile, face, and they're skipping.
And they're skipping.
Yeah.
Woohoo! That's great. So you've got a picture, which is coming up now, of skipping. So you've got smile on the face, head high, and skipping. So that's a good generalization, isn't it? So if I go to, so let's put the, because I've got too many words on the board, let's change this up. Ideal self. So this is the second picture that we've been putting up. Right, this is the version of you that solved all those problems. And it's a nice generalization because we can keep adding to it and it can help you in all areas of your life, right? And so we've got head high, you're seeing yourself. Skipping, I think I heard. And you're seeing yourself smiling. That's great. And so you're smiling. What else do you see? And let's build a really strong version of this side of yourself. So you've got this image, you're seeing yourself.
Sun's out, sky's blue.
Yeah? Sky is blue. Yeah? He's smiling. What is he thinking to himself? Inside of himself.
This is how life should be.
This is how life should be. Okay, so this is how life should be. The sun's out, the sky is blue, smiling, skipping along, head's held high. What's he wearing?
Sunglasses, board shorts.
Oh, very surface paradise, isn't it?
And he's feeling, he might frolicking in the, he might have frolicking in the water.
Frolicking. I don't know how to spell frolicking. Excuse me. Frolicking in the water. Yes? Oh, so how do you
He
feel?
might get thirsty as well.
Thirsty?
He might get thirsty in parts, he might get to rehydrate himself as well.
He can rehydrate himself. This is your ideal self. Head high, skipping, smiling, sun's out. This is how life should be. Sunglasses. What's the feeling you get when you access this future?
Freedom.
Freedom. Wow, you're loving that. So this is a pretty powerful ideal self, isn't it? It's pretty powerful. This is powerful. Where do you feel freedom in the body?
Where do I feel freedom in the
Yeah.
Probably in the mind.
In your mind. And what's the colour of that freedom in your mind?
I don't think nothing articulate.
Any shape to it? First answer the question.
Shooting a goal.
Shooting a goal.
Taking a benefit.
Saving a penalty.
Taking a penalty.
Oh, taking it. All right. Shooting. Taking a penalty goal. As in football, soccer, those who are from other parts of the world. So I like that. So you've kicked a goal. It's a great metaphor. So you're kicking a goal, you're in your mind, the feelings in your mind, it's freedom, you can see yourself with the sunglasses on, this is how it should be, so that's what you call auditory digital, that's the thought side of it. The sun's out, the sky is blue, you're smiling, that could be a kinesthetic or a picture. Smiling can be an emotion or it could be a picture. If you're seeing it, you're skipping, you're seeing that visually, and that could also be a feeling, sensation of skipping. Your head's held high, you're seeing the visual of that. So we've got a strong self-concept starting point. So if you put all that together, is there an image that comes to your mind? Is there an image that, like, is it this shooting the goal? Is that the image that is strong enough for you for firing off good feelings in the body?
I think it's an action you take and you risk and you don't want the risk.
Yep. Great. So you've got would shooting the goal be a good picture to summarise that as a generalisation?
So the general inaction saps the figure of our mind. So
you've got to take the penalty because it's all about action and risk and reward, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. Awesome building blocks. So you got this picture, we've just accessed this ideal self. Now we've accessed the ideal self. Think about where was the words? This is how it should be. This is how life should be. We'll start with the auditory of that, the volume of it. So if you take the volume of this is how it should be, what's the volume at a score out of 10? How high is that volume right now?
I'd say 7.
7? So you're currently 7 out of 10 now.
Yeah, good 7.
So let's start with the auditory. If you turn up the volume, maybe you can do it like an old school tape deck recorder where you turn the knob and the volume would go up. If you take that 7 out of 10, you turn up the volume, make it as loud as you can, make it 10 out of 10. How does that work in your mind? What happens inside?
Oh no, that's a good feeling. That's
Good feeling.
Very good feeling. That's
What's the feeling that fires off? You do that.
Lucky,
Lucky.
gratitude, appreciation,
Gratitude.
stimulus, satisfaction.
Satisfaction. So these feelings, if you've noticed, are actually the opposite of 20 year ago memory taxi driver, where you weren't feeling any stimulation, no satisfaction, no appreciation, no gratitude. It's like the opposite. So it's a really good flip. So that if that fires off, you can swish it straight away. That is activity 2. Right? So activity 1 was the negative thought, which we access to play with, to reduce it. Ideal self is activity 2, which is expanding the ideal self, making it stronger. Now we've got the 2 building blocks to do activity number 3. So that's the negative. That means particular things for yourself. And then the positive side of that, in activity 2, was this one here, which was, opening up like yourself, and it was, this is how it should be. And you're at peace, satisfied, etc. Right? So those are the 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this because I don't want you to access that too much. I want you to access all of this one. So the idea is what's the volume? If you take the volume, what's the volume of this? I shouldn't be doing this. What's the volume right now in your head of that? Volume, just the auditory volume. Out of 10.
I think we do now. Now, 6.
6. And what's the volume of this, how it should be?
Oh, that's getting up to 9.
9 out of 10. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, so that's very strong. So if you've got, I shouldn't be doing this. So what I'm going to get you to do, you've got your 6 out of 10, you know where the dial is. What do you want? You've got 2 sliders. On one side, you've got the negative, which is the 6 out of 10. I'm going to slide that all the way to 0. At the same time, I'm going to slide up the satisfied, this is how it should be. So I shouldn't be doing this, to this is how it should be, and the volume is going to change. So I'll get you to close your eyes so you get rid of the visual field for a moment. In your head, say, this, I shouldn't be doing this. See the 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
Slide it down at the same time. This is how it should be. Slide it up at the same time.
Yeah.
And what happens inside you when you slide that up?
I feel like it feels like a mode flow.
Yep.
That I'm feeling more relaxed.
More relaxed. That's nice. So you're feeling more relaxed. So what you can do is, if you ever hear this voice, I shouldn't be doing this, swish it like that. Then bring the volume down for the negative, bring the volume down to 0, and lift this one up to 10 at the same time. So you swish that one first, you do that in your mind's eye, I shouldn't be doing this, reduce that down to 0, and then lift up straight away, this is how it should be, peace and satisfaction. How does that feel?
It feels like a better moving mind. That more focused on the things that I want, like the things that we programmed to do.
More focus on the things you want and not the things that are being programmed for you. So has that taken you to a more empowered place?
Very much so.
And so could you now, if any of those negative taxi driver days 20 years ago, pops up in your mind, what would you use to get into an empowered state from this little session? And you just built a generalization about your future self, which is actually living in you now. And so that generalization, you can now use that everywhere in your life. When you go to reach for a cigarette, you can swish it off and see what happens. I'm not saying you give up smoking, but maybe you might not smoke as much, who knows? But you get to choose this mental tool to use for yourself whenever you want.